All right, I think we've got a good number of people in, so I'm going to go ahead and jump in, and this recipe is super easy so people can get caught up as they slowly join. But hello everyone, and welcome to our first Kids in the Kitchen virtual cooking class. I am Jenny, one of Festival Foods Mealtime Mentors and registered dietitians, and I'm so excited to be here virtually in your kitchen from the Festival Foods Test Kitchen. And today we are going to be cooking up a really fun snack or lunch. So I hope you have your recipe handy, your food all ready to go. Before we get started though, just a couple of housekeeping notes. Your microphone will remain muted throughout this class. If you have any questions, please use that Q&A button that you see at the bottom of your screen. We have Festival Foods Mealtime Mentors Lauren and Casey on chat. They're going to turn their cameras on and give a wave, and they will be there to help answer any of those questions. So again, use that Q&A button, and that way when they respond, everyone in the class will be able to see those responses. If you're taking this class on demand and you have questions, please reach out to us at askfestivaldietitians.com. So today we are going to be making one of my favorite snacks, mini taco cups. I hope you have your recipe all printed out. If you don't worry. Casey and Lauren can drop a link to that right in chat. And then this recipe, like I said, is super, super simple, so you don't even really need a recipe. You can just kind of follow along with me. This recipe is great for a quick snack, or we're right at lunchtime, so a really nice lunch as well, or a really good game day treat. So the first thing that we are going to do is get our meat going in the pan. So I'm just going to turn this to medium-high heat. And I'm just using a lean ground beef today. And one important thing that I forgot to mention before we started cooking, I've already washed my hands, but because I just handled some raw ground beef, I'm going to go ahead and wash my hands again. So when you're washing hands, the first thing you want to do is make sure that you wet your hands, get a nice amount of soap in there, and then lather really, really well to get lots of bubbles. And then when you're scrubbing, make sure you get all parts of your hands. So things that are commonly missed include like your fingernails, your fingertips, and in between those fingers. So make sure you scrub really well everywhere. And when you're washing, you want to scrub for about 20 seconds before you rinse. So that's like singing the ABCs or singing happy birthday twice. I'm a terrible singer, so I'm just going to chat through all of this. Now my hands are nice and clean. Go ahead and dry them off, and we can get back to cooking. So we always want to make sure that we are cooking with clean hands. All right, I'm just going to break up the meat a little bit here so that it cooks nice and quickly. And I'm just looking for this meat to brown and cook completely through. So while that's working, I'm going to go ahead and chat about the other ingredients that I have here. So the thing I love most about the taco cups is that they're really customizable and you can just put whatever you want on them. For me, my favorite toppings are seen right here. I love, love, love all of this. So let me chat through a little bit what we have today. I'm going to be using some shredded iceberg lettuce. So this is just pre-shredded lettuce. I picked it up in the produce section. If you have some extra time, you can certainly just shred your own lettuce. I also have some pre-shredded like nacho blend cheese. Again, if you have extra time, feel free to shred your own cheese, but I'm all about quick and easy today. I also have some jalapenos. So this might be my favorite topping. I have the hot ones because I do love spice. And then I also have some sliced black olives and non-fat plain Greek yogurt. So I'm using this yogurt instead of sour cream today. It is like a nice little swap we do in the kitchen because the sour cream, it tends to be a little bit higher in fat and in calories than the Greek yogurt. And then the Greek yogurt also has the bonus of having some extra protein. So it's a really simple swap and you can't really taste the difference. So that's what I have today. All right. Take a peek at my meat right now. Looking good. Give it another stir. And kiddos, if you are cooking, please make sure that you have a parent nearby that can help you, especially when you're using things like a hot stove or a sharp knife. So speaking of sharp knives, I'm going to prep the green onions next. I have a wood cutting board today, and one thing that's kind of tricky about cutting boards is sometimes they slip around on the counter. So before you start cutting, you want to make sure that your cutting board is on a nice stable surface. So what I've done is I have a damp paper towel that I've laid on the counter, and I'm just putting my cutting board right on top of that, and then it doesn't slip. I'm using a regular chef's knife today. If you are someone who hasn't used a lot of knives before, or if you're cooking with someone really young, I highly suggest like a nylon knife. This is what I use with my 2-year-old son at home. It comes in like a set of different sizes. This is the smallest one, but it's a good way for them to practice like those knife safety skills. I bought this on Amazon. You can find it at any big box store, but it looks like a knife. You hold it like a knife. It's just not as dangerous because you can't cut yourself with it. So when we are cutting, we always want to make sure that we are being safe. So that means whenever you're holding the knife, your eyes should be on the blade to make sure that you don't accidentally cut yourself or someone else. I'm going to go ahead and grab the knife with my right hand because I'm right-handed. And then with my left hand, I'm going to hold the green onions, but I'm going to keep my fingers tucked under and away from the blade so I don't accidentally nick my fingers. And I'm just going to go ahead and chop off the ends of that green onion and then give the green onions a quick chop to slice them up. And then one other thing I always tell my son and like to remind kids is that knives are tools, they're not toys. So make sure you aren't waving them around. If you're not using it, put it on the counter. They shouldn't ever go in your mouth. You just want to be really careful with them. Even if they're using like a kid's safe knife, you still want to practice those good safety habits so that when they do graduate to a bigger knife, they know how to handle it. Get those green onions off my cutting board. And the final topping that we have here is a shortcut guacamole. So you probably made guacamole from scratch before, where you mash up your avocados and then you have tomatoes and onions and cilantro and lime. So I'm doing a bit of a shortcut today, and we are using a pico de gallo that I picked up from our produce department. So all I'm doing is cutting up some avocado and then mashing it with a few spoonfuls of that pico de gallo, and that will be a really nice, quick and easy guacamole. I already have 2 avocados sliced and in here, but I want to walk through how to safely cut an avocado. Before we get to cutting though, let's talk a little bit about picking an avocado. Most of you have probably heard that if you squeeze an avocado, it should yield or give to like gentle pressure. You can squeeze side to side, or one little trick that we have is to squeeze top to bottom. That gives you a better feel for the ripeness because most people do squeeze side to side, so it might be a little bruised from all that squeezing. If you can only find hard avocados and you need to ripen them a little bit faster, feel free to stick your avocado into a paper bag with an apple, and the gases that are released from that apple will ripen your avocado a little faster. So to cut the avocado, what I'm going to do is place it on my cutting board. And now I'm going to cut straight down until I hit the pit. And I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees and then finish cutting all around it. So at this point, you've probably seen people, twist it apart. They take the knife and strike the pit to twist it out. That's dangerous. So we're not going to do that. We don't want to be swinging any knives into our hands. So I closed it back up, and I'm just going to place it back down onto my cutting board and cut again to put it into quarters. So cut down and now all the way around. And we have quarters. So it does still split in half, but then when you take the half with the pit, you split it into quarters and you can just easily pop that pit out. All right. Now that the pit is out, I'm going to go ahead and take my spoon and just scoop the avocado into my bowl here. So go ahead and do that with your remaining avocados. If you want to save some more time, feel free to just buy pre-made guacamole. We have lots of different options in our produce department. I personally really love the Crazy Fresh. They have a spicy guacamole that has a good amount of heat to it. So that's one of my favorites. All right, I got avocado on my hand, so I'm going to give it a quick rinse. Okay, and like I said, we're doing a shortcut guac here. So I will do a few spoonfuls of this pico de gallo, just for some extra flavor. And then I'm going to mash all of this up. And if you want to skip the guacamole entirely, you could just do like avocado chunks. That would also be really good. But I would highly recommend including avocado, one of my favorite toppings. Okay. Give another peek at our meat here. So like I said, today we are using a lean ground beef. If you aren't a fan of beef, feel free to substitute, like ground turkey would be great in here. If you do like beef but want something a little bit leaner, we have a 50-50 beef and turkey blend that's in our meat department that's super good. We use that a lot in the kitchen here. If you're looking for like a vegetarian option, beans would be great. You could use like refried beans or just black beans. Or we even have a recipe for cauliflower walnut taco crumbles, which I think would be super tasty in these taco cups. One other little trick that we like to do is called the blend, and that's where you mix in like finely chopped mushrooms in with your ground meat. The mushrooms give a lot of umami or like that savory flavor to your meat, and then it's a really nice way to get in some extra veggies as well. Okay, it looks like the meat is almost there, but I still see some pink. So I want to make sure that all of that's gone. I'll give it a couple more minutes. As I finish cooking this though, I just want to talk a little bit about some other modifications you can make. Again, that's the beauty of this recipe. It's so easy to kind of change up what you're doing so everybody can enjoy this dish. You just kind of put out like a buffet of different toppings and they can build their own. If you have someone that needs to eat gluten-free, for example, all of these ingredients are naturally gluten-free. The one thing you'll want to check though is to make sure that your taco seasoning is also gluten-free. One really easy way to make sure that it's gluten-free is to just make your own. So I actually do that at home. I'll make my own like large jar of taco seasoning and then just keep it on hand for whenever I do tacos or like burritos and stuff at home. If you need dairy-free, just simply omit the Greek yogurt or sour cream and the cheese. We have lots of really great non-dairy alternatives to those in our natural department. So if you still want to get like some of that cheesy flavor but can't have cheese, we do have options for you. Okay, this is looking pretty good. So what I'm going to do now is just finish the meat up following the instructions on the back of my packet. It doesn't really matter what taco seasoning you use. I chose one that has a little bit less sodium. Let me see, how do I open this? Okay. And then it also called for some water. So I'm going to go ahead and mix all of that in. And give that a good stir to combine everything, and it just needs to kind of come to a boil, and then we'll be all ready to assemble our little taco cups. Okay, that's looking really nice. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the heat now. And now we can put everything together. So I'm using like clear plastic cups today. You could build this in, a mason jar or even a bowl. If you're super hungry, use a large bowl. But I'm going to start off with just a scoop of our taco meat at the bottom, and then kind of go down the line and add a little bit of everything. So like I said, I have the shredded iceberg lettuce. I'll do a little bit of that. Got the green onions that we sliced up, olives. I am a huge olive fan, but I know not everyone is. So again, build your own, choose your own adventure. Got to have that guacamole. Do some Greek yogurt. And of course, some cheese. So you'll see that I also have some spinach on the counter. And one thing that I like to do, since I have all these ingredients out, I'm not feeding, 10 people a snack today. So I'm going to build myself a lunch out of this and just put it on top of some spinach. You could use like more lettuce, or if you need something super hearty, adding rice would be a really great way to kind of stretch this into a larger meal. But if you just need a quick little snack, go ahead and build yourself a cup and then just serve it with some tortilla chips. So choose your favorite chip. Whatever your favorite is will be great. I have some spicy queso chips today. Those caught my eye when I was shopping. I've never seen them before, but I'm very excited to try them. So I'm gonna let you guys go and enjoy the little mini taco cups that you just made. I wanna thank you all so much for joining us today. I hope you had fun, learned a few tips and tricks, and ended up with a really tasty lunch or snack to kind of put a little pep in your day. And if you are taking this class live, we will be sending out a post-class survey to the email address that you provided during registration. We would greatly appreciate it if you could provide some feedback to us so we can improve our future classes. We do have classes coming up in February and in March as well. So definitely keep an eye out on our Facebook and Instagram for that information. You can follow us at Fest Foods. And as a thank you for filling out that survey, we will be picking a winner to win a $25 Festival Foods gift card. And if you like this recipe and want even more recipes, make sure to sign up for our appetite email presented by the Mealtime Mentors. So there are lots of great recipes in that email. And you'll also get like a sneak peek to when upcoming classes are being held. So thanks again for joining us today, and we will see you next time. Bye.